Blog Talk Radio.
There's been an awakening. Have you felt it? You are listening to Dark Matter Radio with your host, Ronnie. Dark Matter Radio with your host, Ronnie McLean. The breaking news is the Islamic Republic of Iran is dumping the U.S. dollar. Does this mean war? In a quick update, I just wanted to really give you guys an understanding of how important it is for us to be engaged in politics for ourselves and our beings, and what it means and how, when we are piggybacking on someone else, where they're actually really taking us. So the Iranian government is dumping the U.S. dollar. And on March 21st, the Islamic Republic of Iran will cease using the U.S. dollar in all of its financial reporting. The decision to stop using the dollar as a reference has been in the works for some time, but was explicit after the Trump administration decided to include Iran as one of the 7 countries banned from entering into the United States. Now understand, I don't believe that this ban was the only reason why they decided to dump the dollar at this particular point, because if you can remember, some years back, the Iranian government underneath Ahmadinejad had these words to say. The Iranian president had called for the dollar's end in Iran, calling it worthless piece of paper. Iran has dramatically reduced dependence on the dollar over the past year in the face of increasing U.S. pressure and its financial system and fall in the value of the American currency. Oil is the price in dollars on the world market, and the currency depreciation has concerned producers because it's contributed to rising crude prices and erode the value of their dollar currency. The dollar has totally been removed from Iranian oil transactions. Oil ministry official, can't really pronounce his name, told the state-run television Wednesday, "We have agreed with all of our crude and oil customers to do our transaction in non-dollar currencies." Now, this was when Ahmadinejad was actually president of Iran, which was more than, I believe, 5 years ago. So this has been brewing for quite some time, and the concern is that they are actually going towards war. Now, as Iran dumps the dollar, there's another thing that we have to really take into consideration, which is another breaking story, which is that Congress quietly slips a bill in for the use of force against Iran. Now, this is really, really interesting because, again, on March 21st, the Republic of Iran will cease using the U.S. dollar and all of its reporting transactions. So the Iranian TV press reported Vaha Schiff, the governor of the Central Bank of Iran, was quoted by domestic media as saying that Iran would either replace the U.S. dollar with a new common foreign currency or use a basket of currencies and all of its official financial and foreign exchange reports. Now, why is this important? Well, it's important because you remember back with Nixon was defending the dollar against speculators back in the 70s. He took the dollar off the gold standard, which was a protection measure, was only supposed to last for several years. But because now the gold standard has been out, and the dollar was now considered to be a petrodollar because it was the world reserve currency. Now, I reported on this a while ago. Once the United States government no longer has the world reserve currency, that means that the United States dollar is going to collapse. I don't care what anybody has to say and how many jobs to bring in. When the collapse of the dollar happens, that's going to be financial destruction for just about every single person in North America, including Canada and everywhere else that is dependent on the dollar. It is going to be one terrible situation, and you'll know that by the rise of inflation. Now, the United States has already over $15 to $20 billion and almost $100 trillion in guarantees of debt that is out there, and they're only bringing in a fraction amount of that money. There's absolutely no way that the Ponzi scheme of the financial system that the World Banks and the Federal Reserve has going is going to be able to keep up for any time soon. So, as we get to that, it will replace the dollar with any currency. Now they're thinking about probably using the euro, which again is in jeopardy because remember what happened when the BRICS, the British used BRICS to get out of the euro, and again it's a European currency. So now, who would be able to use this currency that they have going on? Well, Russia, China, and a lot of the other Middle Eastern countries that have been banned from the United States. And again, it's not the ban that has been brewing the winds of war towards this conclusion. It is the direction of the world governments that is pushing these types of things. So has Trump been brought in to actually really persuade or to pursue a course to finish the job and commit to war? Now, let's get back to the Congress. Following Trump, the Selfie report stated that the country of Iran needs a much more stable foreign currency, that the dollar is significantly founded in exchange houses throughout the country. Iran would be better suited trading in European euros, Union euros, Chinese yen, can you believe that, or in United Arab Emirates, dirham. Now, remember, China and Russia had made a move about a year and a half ago in 2015, I believe, to move away from the currency and the reserve currency of the United States dollar, forcing the world, or the world allowing China to become also a secondary reserve currency. Interesting indeed. Following Trump's plan, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen all have been banned from entering the U.S. for a period of at least 90 days. The decision has angered globalists who see borders as just one more man-made obstacle to freedom to travel the world, as well as anyone with families or conducting business in those countries. Even with all of the angst and outrage, if Iran goes ahead with the plan to replace the dollar in this monetary system, the country's theocracy leaders run the risk of falling victim to U.S. vengeance. Now let's get to U.S. vengeance. Remember, there were two other countries that had decided not to use that was going to replace the U.S. dollar. The first one was Iraq, and after 2 wars, Iraq was completely obliterated. Libya didn't even get a chance to get off the ground, as they were going to replace the currency with another currency of their own, the trade on the exchange for oil. After that, Libya was destroyed. Now, let's read a little bit more about this. In fact, the United States is already preparing for a potential conflict with Iran. The U.S. has introduced HJ Resolution 10, authorizing the use of force against Iran in this resolution. This resolution was quietly introduced last month with absolutely no media attention, in spite of the fact that it authorizes the president to use the U.S. armed forces as necessary in order to prevent Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons. Wonder what they're planning to do for us, as they can do this very quietly. And other countries and their leaders have attempted to do the same thing as Iran, but backfired in the faces, and they were successfully invaded by the U.S. So, there we have it. We are at the precipice of a very serious situation. And I want to back it off with this report. And I want you to listen, because Iran has been doing things to test the treaty that was produced last year with the Obama administration. And they are constantly doing things against the UN resolutions against them. Now, with the new sanctions that the United States has put on Iran, and Iran threatening to get off the reserve dollar, it spells certain doom. And especially when you begin to start hearing reports like this.
Now, from our team at the Pentagon, that Iran has conducted another ballistic missile test, once again potentially violating a UN resolution. Timing on this is important. It happened over the weekend. As our understanding, it happened yesterday, and this happened on the map, as you can see, about 140 miles east of Tehran. A U.S. official is telling Fox News it was a medium-range missile which traveled about 600 miles, and it's the second time Iran has carried out such a test, defying the international community. But again, going back to the point, timing matters. It happened this weekend, and you have a big visit happening today at the Pentagon by the first Arab nation leader to visit during the Trump administration. That's King Abdullah of Jordan. So all of this developing. We'll have more from Jennifer Griffin, Lucas Tomlinson at our Pentagon a little later on in our program.
Now, when you listen to that, that is also now telling you that Iran is pushing the issue, just like when they captured a few of the U.S. Navy boats and even held our Navy officers, well, the United States Navy's officers, at gunpoint as hostage, as they refused to return them right away. Just about a couple of weeks ago, last month, I believe it was, China took a drone from the United States Naval and refused to give it back. And Trump said, let them keep it. So there's a lot of things. And also, don't forget about China building all of these islands, these war islands, as I call them, in the South Pacific. And it's something amazing, because when you look at these islands, they're created islands in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and they have about, 5, 6 of them, and they're now starting to put naval bases and airstrips on them as well. So understand that we have a situation as to where we must be able to get into our own news. So this was a Dark Matter Radio News breaking update about the Islamic Republic of Iran dumping the U.S. dollar. I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.